Hi there, Serial Trader here. I got a request to take a look at XLE on a longer term time frame. So I've chosen the monthly chart. And if we just look, we had the peak here on XLE in June of 2014, and that was at 101.52. And since that 2014 peak, it looks like a fairly standard three-wave decline, ABC down. And I've just got the AC equality relationship illustrated here. That came into play at 27.83. Of course, it spiked a little lower than that, went down to 22.88. But you can see on this monthly time frame, I got this corrective price channel drawn, and we largely just kind of spiked down briefly below the bottom trend line of the price channel, and now we're reacting strongly off that lower trend line. So I think it's pretty solid to say that we have the low in place, likely a very long-term low at 22.88, and that eventually, being that this is a corrective pullback, ABC pullback, we're going to take up that 101.52 high. And this works fairly well, being that XLE has a pretty strong correlation to the price of crude oil. And I think that the crude oil has put in a major bottom, possibly a generational bottom, which I believe was minus $40 or whatever it was, at least on that June contract. And even if you don't want to believe in that contract, it was like $6 and change on the next month's contract at the same time. So either way, it put in an extreme low. And given that I do see an impulse wave clearly off the bottom on crude oil, that tells me that the larger trend is now up on the oil market, which certainly bodes well for something like XLE. Okay, so what is the use of this information? Well, I mean, you don't look at a monthly chart necessarily for a trade or for an entry, but it gives you an idea maybe for an investing kind of position what you want to get involved with. And I'd say from an investment kind of standpoint, XLE looks interesting for a multi-year play. But if you go into, let's say, the daily chart, I mean, of course, you want to try and get a reasonable entry, even if you are a longer-term player. You don't want to buy something and have it pull back 50% on you or something before it starts working for you. You try to be a little more precise than that. So looking at this daily chart here on XLE, doesn't look as clean of an impulse wave off the bottom, for instance, as compared to crude oil. Now, I'm not looking at crude oil in this video. I'm just focusing on XLE. But nonetheless, this is going to be pretty highly correlated to crude. So I'll be more worried about crude's trend than necessarily the XLE pattern by itself. But, I mean, kind of hard to say what we got working here. This doesn't look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of pattern off the bottom, at least not yet. But what kind of stands out to me, looks like we might have a little bit of a head and shoulders top here on the daily chart, so probably get a little pullback here. Not to go too far into the daily analysis here, this is meant to be more of a big picture perspective, but I kind of think, somewhere in the mid 30s, maybe down to low 30s. Low 30s to mid 30s would probably be a pretty reasonable longer term entry point if it pulls back there, to try and take advantage of what is likely going to be a longer term bull market here on XLE. So just my thoughts. I don't really see anything necessarily actionable here on the daily chart, but certainly that monthly looks like a nice ABC pullback, major low in place, and over time it should be heading higher. So yeah, basically those are my thoughts on XLE. Hopefully that's of use to someone out there. All right, Serial Trader signing off.